Assassin's Creed, being a diverse franchise, has taken us through history's greatest conflicts, from the deserts of ancient Egypt to the towering castles of the Renaissance. With a continuously growing franchise with over a plethora of mainline games, some sideline games, comic books, novels, and side stories, the franchise is as diverse as it is massive. But with such a vast and layered narrative, things can get complicated. And if you're new, then you might be wondering, where do I even start? Well, that's exactly why we're here for. Because we will be breaking down the entire Assassin's Creed timeline, including the Isu era, the historical eras, and the modern day conflicts. So when you jump into feudal Japan, you'll know exactly where Shadows fits in. Anyways, grab a snack, hit that subscribe button, and settle in, because this is going to be a long video. For us to understand the full story, we have to go way back, before the existence of humans. In the year 70,000 BCE, the Earth wasn't ruled by dinosaurs or some other species. It was ruled by a mysterious civilization known as the Isu. Nothing is known much about their origins, while some people debate that they're aliens, while others debate that they're just future humans, and this whole game franchise is a big time paradox. Since Ubisoft hasn't confirmed any of this, so we won't go there. These beings had advanced technology, making them seem like gods. They were also divided into different factions across the world, much like how we humans are, meaning that they also lacked a unified empire. And just like humans, they were also good and bad. For instance, the Isu residing in the Greco-Roman regions of the world were Minerva, Jupiter, and Juno. They were the leading figures of the Isu, always inventing new things and looking for methods to improve their lifestyle. While on the other hand, there were the Aesir, a faction of Isu from the northern parts of the world. They comprised of Odin, Loki, Thor, Heimdall, and many others. They were obsessed with prophecy and destiny. They saw the collapse of their world coming but believed it was inevitable. They also had their internal struggles. Odin, the king of the Aesir, had a beef with Loki, because Loki had an affair with the Isu of another faction named Aletheia. We will talk more about her in the video when the time is right. When Odin found out that Loki also fathered 3 children with her, he imprisoned his child Fenrir. This led to a rivalry between both of them, resulting in Loki's imprisonment as well as his sons. So Loki was very much against Odin and his regime. Moving on, since their empire was so broad and vast, they wanted labor force, and for that purpose, they created us humans. But since humans were intelligent and had their own sense of thinking and consciousness, to ensure full control and obedience, they planted small neurotransmitter chips into humans. And to further maximize that, they created the famous artifacts which we know as the Pieces of Eden. These Pieces of Eden were specifically designed to control and manipulate humans, the most famous ones being the Apples of Eden, the Staves of Eden, and the Shrouds of Eden, and many others. Since there is exception in everything, some humans were born without it. The first recorded humans to be actually immune to the Isu control were Adam and Eve. They escaped the Isu facility and raised a whole rebellion against them, resulting in the Isu-Human War, which continued for decades. While the rest of the empire was busy fighting humans, God had other plans. A massive solar flare was about to hit Earth. But since the Human-Isu War was at large, so their time went there instead of fixing what's there to come. But still, they developed 6 methods in total to prevent it. Out of these 6 methods, only 3 of them had the most potential. The 3 of them being the Eye Project, the Immortality Project, and Minerva's Time Loop attempt. Meanwhile, the Aesir branch knew that they will not be able to prevent the end of the world, so they tried a different method. Their method was similar to that of Juno, which she used to transfer her husband's consciousness into the future humans. So the Aesir did the same. Meanwhile, Loki, who was being imprisoned by Odin, found a way to escape it. He went to Aletheia and transferred her consciousness to a staff. And when the solar flare finally hit the Earth, he entered the Aesir chamber and took Heimdall's place and transferred his consciousness instead of him, and then fully immortalized himself into the future. The Greco-Roman Isu left messages for future humans to prevent another solar flare, which they knew will come sometime later. As a result, the whole civilization collapsed and the Isu-Human War finally came to an end. But not everything was done. Some members of both races survived and eventually mated. resulting in them forming powerful individuals with the best of both worlds, which were known as the Isu-human hybrids. These beings had equal proportion of both Isu and human DNA and were highly powerful. How they're important to the greater AC lore? Well, we will get there soon enough. Some humans disagreed and started worshipping the Isu as their gods and immortalized themselves as mythological beings and creatures, with them worshipping their artifacts in the temples where they resided in. And this is how the once powerful civilization got crumbled into pieces. Sometime during the year 1334 BCE in ancient Egypt, a mysterious order was created by none other than the reigning pharaoh of the time, Semenhkare. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. He was the first known leader of the order, and he believed in centralized control and divine rule. The reason why it was created was, after the fall of the Isu, many powerful humans still worshipped them as gods. So, some individuals believed that humanity was weak and needed to be controlled and guided, inspired by the Isu's strict rule. Because of this, the order sought Isu artifacts to gain supernatural power and rule over mankind. As a result, they established secret sects across Egypt using assassinations, political manipulation, and economic control to shape civilization. During the early stages, it was composed of a few members, but as time went by, it got more and more expansive, even beyond the border of Egypt, like Greece, Persia, Rome, and many other countries of the world, to seek control. By the year 465 BCE, the order has reached Persia, manipulating and corrupting powerful kings like Xerxes I and Darius I. Their tyranny has reached to a point where it seems inevitable to take them down. But a few members of the Persian elite, namely being Artabanus and his allies Amorgus and Paktias, planned Xerxes' assassination in August of the same year. When Xerxes' convoy reached the canyon, him and his allies attacked the king's guard as a distraction. With Xerxes left unprotected, Artabanus sneaked behind him and stabbed him in the neck with his hidden blade, marking the first recorded use of it in the Assassin's Creed history. With Xerxes dead, his son Artaxerxes I ascended the throne. Fearing that he too would be corrupted by the order, Artabanus decided to assassinate him as well, but was opposed by his close friend Amorgus. He said to him that he has joined the order and that Artabanus should do the same, but instead he declined and remained firm on his decision to assassinate the new king. But Amorgus betrayed him by calling the guards, hence branding Artabanus as the traitor. As a result, he was forced to flee Persia with his family, taking on the new name of Darius. Now finally, we're moving to the first game that we will talk about in the timeline, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Our game begins in the year 431 BCE during the Peloponnesian War. We step into the shoes of Cassandra, a Greek mercenary living in the island of Cephalonia, who has some problems of her own. She was raised by a Greek merchant named Marcos, who took her in from a very young age and trained her to become a mercenary. During her time in Cephalonia, she saves Marcos from a local gang named the Cyclops, and in the process also saves a ship captain by the name of Barnabas. He thanks Cassandra for saving her and then becomes her ally afterwards. Once this problem is done, Cassandra meets a random person by the name of Elpenor. He tells Cassandra that he knows who she is and also gives her a contract to assassinate a Spartan general by the name of Wolf of Sparta, who is also Cassandra's father. Knowing this very well, they all set sail for Megaris, where they will find the wolf. Upon reaching there, she quickly gains the Spartans' trust and arranges a meeting with the wolf. Before the conversation, it is revealed that Cassandra was thrown from the mountain by his own father. The reason being that the oracle has prophesied that Nicolaus' youngest children will bring forth the destruction of Sparta. But it seemed like some hidden organization was pulling the strings. But still, Nicolaus was forced to throw his youngest child atop Mount Taygetos. Cassandra, being the older sibling, tried to stop the execution, but she pushed the priest in the process, forcing Nicolaus to throw her as well. Luckily, she survived but was presumed dead. Moving to the present, Cassandra confronts her father, who reveals that he isn't his biological father but someone else is, and also tells her to find her mother for further answers. Cassandra spares him and finds and tracks Elpenor, the same person who gave her the contract. Upon killing him, it is revealed that Elpenor was the member of a secret organization, and that same organization will hold a meeting beneath the Temple of Delphi. Cassandra disguises herself as one of them and finds out that this secret organization is known as the Cult of Cosmos, and they're the ones pulling the strings in all of Greece. And the reason why they're after their family is because of their blood, meaning that Cassandra, her mother, her brother, and her grandfather Leonidas were all Isu human hybrids. And since the cult is also like Order of Ancients who preaches this stuff, they wanted to control them to spread death and destruction. This also explained that the prophecy which forced Nicolaus to throw his children was because of the cult. She also discovered that her brother is surprisingly alive but under the influence of cults and is now known as Demos. Now her mission becomes more clear to reunite her whole family. After a bit of searching, she finds her mother, who gives her the location of an island where she might find her original father. At some point in her travels, she also finds Darius, who tells her about the Order of the Ancients and seeks assistance for taking them down. While assisting, she also falls in love with his son Natakas, and they both have a son named Elpidios. But because of the Order's influence, she's not able to keep him with him, so she sends him off to another land far away from Greece. Elpidios doesn't just disappear after this DLC. His descendants are in fact one of the most important people in the AC lore, which we will talk about later in the video when we get to the point. Anyways, moving on. After tying all loose ends, she finally kills the head of the Order, who turns out to be a Morgus. After wrapping up the Order, she now continues to hunt the cult. Her search leads her to different parts of the Greek world where she kills each of the members one by one, ultimately circling back to Demos. She breaks him free out of the cult's control, and then the whole family reunites on top of the same mountain from where they were thrown. If you choose all the options correct, you will get the best ending with all the family members alive. Since the cult is dead and everything seems fine, Cassandra travels to the same location which her mother gave her, and finds out that her real father is indeed Pythagoras, the same person who created the Pythagoras theorem. He also reveals that Cassandra's eagle was a courtesy of him and was sent by him to look out for her, and also that he's practically immortal because of the staff he wields. He gives Cassandra a task to kill all 4 mythological beings scattered across Greece. After killing and bringing all the 4 artifacts, he tries to open the door to Atlantis, a lost city, but Cassandra intervenes and is forced to kill her father, taking his staff and bearing the responsibility of the staff bearer. After wielding the staff, it is revealed that this staff has a consciousness of its own, and that consciousness is of Aletheia, the same Isu which Loki fell in love with. To master this artifact, Aletheia tells Cassandra to run several simulations. These simulations are actually Isu stories, but Cassandra views them as Greek stories because of her Greek culture. After going through each simulation one by one, she finally masters the staff and takes her duty as the staff keeper, while practically being immortal until a new host arrives. Although it is very unethical to include Assassin's Creed Jade on this list, because the game hasn't even released yet, plus we don't know anything about it. But as far as we know, this game exists and takes place in the year 251 BCE, and we play as the apprentice of a proto-assassin named Wei Yu, while also taking down the Order's presence in China. And that's all we know about the game. Our story begins in the year 49 BCE during the Ptolemaic Egypt. The Order has grown to an exponential rate in Egypt now, with them controlling the current pharaoh, Ptolemy. They come to Siwa in search for an Isu temple. We take control of Bayek of Siwa, the Magi of Egypt and presumably the last of his kind. He lives a happy life with his wife Aya, the descendant of Elpidios as we mentioned before, and son Khemu, until the day he gets captured by the Order. They bring Bayek to the vault where they ask him, since he's the Magi, he might know how this vault opens. Bayek declines by saying that he doesn't know anything about it. They warn Bayek that they will go for a few minutes, and until then, if the vault isn't open, they will kill his son. During this time, Khemu devises a plan to free both him and Bayek but ultimately fails, resulting in the Order arriving and Bayek stabbing his own son. This event traumatizes Bayek and he's forced to kill every person responsible for his son's death. During his journey, he eliminates key members of the Order, believing that their leader is named as the Snake and he's the person responsible for Khemu's death, because he overheard some members saying that name. Aya also joins him in his crusade. She secretly works for Cleopatra, who is in conflict with her brother Ptolemy. After assassinating the first 5 Order members, Bayek thinks that he has avenged Khemu. But Apollodorus, one of Cleopatra's assistants, and Cleopatra herself tells Bayek and Aya that the Order isn't comprised of 5 members only, and that the person Snake that they're after is not just one person but is the symbol for the whole Order of the Ancients. During this conversation, she also gives Bayek the Golden Magi badge, making him her personal Magi. After learning all of this, Bayek is infuriated and vows to bring each and every Order member the death that they deserve, and hence they begin their quest. assassinating Order members in different parts of the Egyptian world, until finally reaching the top 3. During this time, Cleopatra sides herself with Julius Caesar, who comes in Egypt to completely put an end to the Egyptian civil war. After his arrival, a great battle ensues, and there Bayek finds one of the Order's powerful enforcers, Septimius. Bayek fights him and tries to kill him, but is prevented by Caesar, who tells Bayek that since he's a Roman, he would like to execute Septimius under Roman rules. Bayek hesitates but is put unconscious by the Roman guards. A few days later, it is revealed that both Bayek and Aya have been played by Cleopatra, and that Septimius is not executed but is with Caesar now. Learning about this betrayal, they take the matter in their own hands. At that particular moment, Bayek and all of his allies that he found while his travels in Egypt created the first organized assassin brotherhood, and Bayek officially named them as the Hidden Ones. Since Egypt is now under Order's control completely, they again reach Siwa. This time they manage to open the vault, killing Bayek's friend in the process. Bayek and Aya enter the vault, and it is revealed that the vault had a map consisting of all the Isu temples in the world. To prevent it from falling into wrong hands, they seal it completely. At this point, Bayek and Aya separate, because their duties demanded it so. Bayek prefers to stay in Egypt to kill Flavius, while Aya goes to Rome to kill Septimius and Julius Caesar. Bayek reaches the region of Cyrene and kills Flavius, hence avenging his son's death. Aya on the other hand reaches Rome and kills Septimius, and then disguises herself as one of the Roman nobles and tries to assassinate Caesar, but since they were the earliest branch of the Hidden Ones, they did not know where the hidden blade was affected, so she stabbed him but he didn't die. Instead, he was stabbed by all of the other people in his court. After eliminating the Order's presence in Rome and Egypt, they finally settle down and establish bureaus, recruiting more people in the process. Aya changes her name to Aminet and begins working as a full-time Hidden One, and so does Bayek. A few years later, Bayek gets another mission. He has to secure a piece of Eden in the land of Thebes that is causing the resurrection of some dead people, mainly the dead pharaohs of Egypt. Bayek tracks down the source and kills a person responsible for it, and does the most inhumane thing possible, giving it to a random NPC. After getting the piece of Eden, his work here is finally done. A few years later, in the land of Sinai, Bayek is called upon by one of his recruits, Tahira. She tells Bayek that the land of Sinai is under heavy influence of the Order, and that they need Bayek's help in eliminating them. Bayek helps them and kills each of the Order member one by one, until the location of the bureau gets compromised somehow. Their whole bureau lights up on fire, and Bayek tries to escape but is captured in the process, with much of the Hidden Ones dying as well. Bayek is surprisingly saved by Aya from execution. She told Bayek that the situation got out of hand, so she had to come. Amidst all of that, Tahira gets killed, and now Bayek has more than enough reasons to eliminate the Order from here. During their mission, the Hidden Ones were also assisted by a rebel leader named Gamilot, but since he was actively putting the lives of innocent people at risk, Bayek had to put him down. And after that day, the 3 tenets of the creed were born, and a promise was made that no Hidden One will ever raise his or her sword against an innocent. At some point during his later years, he goes to the same cave where he and Aya used to hide as children, and chooses that place as his and Aya's resting place, hence making both of them together not in life, but in death. Many years after the events of Assassin's Creed Origins in 861 CE, we meet Basim, a young street thief living in Anbar with his childhood friend and companion Nehal. Throughout his entire life, Basim is hunted by visions of a monstrous jinn, who he refers as the Jinni. His friend Nehal always helps him cope with his nightmares, while Basim dreams of joining the Hidden Ones. Meanwhile, Roshan, a senior assassin, rejects him. To prove himself, Basim steals an Isu artifact from the Khalifa's palace, but is caught by the Khalifa himself. As he was about to kill Basim, Nehal jumps in and saves Basim by killing the Khalifa, triggering a purge of thieves in Anbar. Blaming Nehal for the death of all these people, Basim is found by Roshan and he escapes with her and joins the Hidden Ones fortress in Alamut. The Hidden Ones are now much more upgraded and organized than before, making them just like assassins but not actual assassins because the name is still the Hidden Ones, but they're pretty much the same at this point. When the Order of the Ancients expand their influence in Baghdad, Basim and Roshan are sent to investigate. During his stay in the city, Basim assassinates 4 high-ranking Order members, while also uncovering their obsession with ancient Isu artifacts. Meanwhile, his nightmares return. He talks to Roshan about them, but Roshan declines by saying that you have to believe in yourself and then they will be gone, without providing him with any actual answers. During his hunt, he also reunites with Nehal, who urges him to seek answers himself. Sometime later, Basim finally tracks down the Order's leader. Before dying, she reveals to Basim that she knows what Basim is searching for, and whatever he wants lies in the Isu temple beneath Alamut. Before she could say anything, she is killed by Roshan. Ignoring Roshan's warnings, Basim and Nehal return to Alamut, finding it under siege by the Order. Basim saves the Hidden Ones and ventures into the Isu temple, but is prevented by Roshan, where both the mentor and the apprentice fight. With Roshan ultimately losing, Basim finally ventures inside the temple. And there, the biggest twist of all reveals. Both Nehal and the Jinni never actually existed. They were in fact representations of his repressed memories as the Isu god Loki. So, after learning the truth, within his mind, Basim embraces his nature as Loki's reincarnation, hence unlocking his memories as Loki, because as we know, before dying he was able to transfer his consciousness into the future humans. After leaving the temple, Basim is welcomed back into the Hidden Ones, while Roshan resigns in protest. Now being fully aware of his past, Basim says to himself that he has been born in a new world, and looks forward to a reunion with those who were responsible for his imprisonment. Who are those people and where are they? We will get the answer soon enough. Set in 873 CE, Assassin's Creed Valhalla follows Eivor, Varin's daughter or Varin's son depending upon the player's choice. But since I played as a male version, I will refer to him as a he. As a child, Eivor's family is slaughtered by the warlord Yotway the Cruel. But before he could kill Eivor, Eivor is saved by Sigurd. During their escape, he is attacked by a wolf, who bites Eivor specifically on his neck, thus earning him the title the Wolf-Kissed. 17 years later, Eivor is now pursuing vengeance against the person who killed his parents. His latest attempt fails, but he recovers his father's axe. Upon touching it, Eivor experiences a vision of Odin, leading him to consult their local seer, Valka. She induces him another vision of Sigurd, losing an arm before being consumed by a giant wolf. Shortly after this vision, Sigurd, the adopted brother of Eivor, returns from an expedition, and he also brought some foreigners, including the one and only Basim ibn al-Ishaq, along with his apprentice Hydim. They came to Norway to eliminate Yotway, so that the Order's presence could be reduced. King Styrbjorn refuses to assist Eivor in his pursuit of vengeance. Defying Styrbjorn's orders, Eivor and Sigurd enlist King Harald's help to kill Yotway, and emerge as being victorious. While killing him, Eivor experiences another vision of Odin, who guides him in his every action and manipulates him into making certain decisions. After the victory, Harald declares his intention to unite Norway under his rule, with Sigurd's father also bending knee to Harald. It angers Sigurd, because he expected him to inherit the crown. He and Eivor take their most trusted members and then shift to England, where they establish their own settlement named Ravensthorpe. After setting up Ravensthorpe, Eivor and Sigurd focus on securing alliances with neighboring Saxon kingdoms and Viking clans, while also eliminating the Order of the Ancients from England, following tip-offs from a poor fellow soldier of Christ. Not knowing his identity, Eivor still chooses to follow him. His hunt also takes him to Vinland, presently known as North America, where he recovers a strange artifact and gives it to the native Kenyan Kahaka tribe. The significance of this tribe is very important to Assassin's Creed 3's plotline, and we will talk more about them later. Meanwhile, his visions continue. Valka gives him a potion that makes him dream of Asgard from Odin's perspective, where he is hoping to avert his own fated death during Ragnarok. And we also learned that how he imprisoned Loki, Fenrir, and all the other calamities that happened. These are not actually dreams, but Odin's memories embedded inside Eivor's mind. And since he views these characters as gods and deities, this is why we perceive them as gods in his visions. So we'll learn how things unfolded back in the day. Moving on to the present, Sigurd and Basim discover an Isu relic, and Sigurd, with Basim's encouragement, comes to believe himself a god, not knowing Basim's intention, because he thinks Odin is Sigurd, so that when Sigurd gets his memories, he could kill him. Upon discovering that Isu relic, an Order member named Fulke captures Sigurd, believing him to be an Isu. She tortures him and also removes his right arm. Eivor, on the other hand, brings allies to kill Fulke and rescue Sigurd, but Sigurd has been experiencing strange visions. Eivor accompanies Sigurd back to Norway to investigate his visions, finding an Isu temple with a tree-shaped computer system. And yep, this is the same tree that we talked about earlier in the video. The same place where all the Aesir Isu transferred their consciousness. So it all came back full circle. They hook themselves with the tree-shaped computer and believe that they are transported to Valhalla. where they enjoy endless battles until Eivor realizes that it is just a simulation and not reality. During this period of time, Eivor also resists Odin's control in his mind, thus imprisoning him in his mind permanently. Or so he thought. Upon awakening, Eivor is confronted by Basim, who reveals himself, Eivor, and Sigurd to be reincarnations of Loki, Odin, and Tyr respectively. And this is the same reason why Eivor is having visions of Odin, Sigurd of Tyr, and Basim obviously of Loki. Basim attacks Eivor, but since he's agile and fast, Eivor could not kill him, but instead traps him in the simulation. Based on the player's choices, Sigurd then abdicates leadership of the clan to Eivor, who returns to England. After arriving in England, the Great Battle of Chippenham occurs, to take down and capture Wessex. After the battle, Eivor tracks down King Alfred, who reveals himself as both the leader of the Order of the Ancients and the poor fellow soldier of Christ, thus revealing that all of the members of the Order that Eivor killed were because of Alfred, their leader. And this is all because the Order was not following Christianity, and since he was a Christian, he wanted to replace it with the new God-fearing Order. So Eivor spares him, and this is how the famous Templar Order was born, with King Alfred being the first Grand Master of the Templar Order. Anyhow, after dealing with Alfred, Eivor returns to Ravensthorpe to a hero's welcome. After successfully conquering England in a way, he also ventures into Paris and Ireland to help the people there. But since those adventures had nothing to do with the lore of the game, so we won't go there. Years after this, it's revealed that Eivor still has some visions of Odin, and after years of resisting it, he finally realizes that he cannot suppress them forever, and feeling like he has done everything he could for the Raven clan, decides to travel far away to better understand his connection with Odin. He bids farewell to his friends and allies, while also rejecting offers to join the Hidden Ones and the Templars, from Hyndam and Alfred respectively, and sets off for Vinland, where he spends his final years conversing with Odin, who tells him about the great catastrophe that wiped out most of the Isu and how he and his kind came to reincarnate themselves throughout the ages. We now finally get into the shoes of Altair ibn La'ahad in the year 1191. This Levantine assassin reached the rank of master at a very young age, which made him a cocky bastard. He had no respect for the tenets of the creed nor how to complete his mission. He just viewed himself superior above everyone else in the Brotherhood. Also, the Brotherhood in this period of time was officially known as the Assassins. How the shift happened and who changed the name is unknown, but we can safely speculate that the person who created the Assassins in real life, Hassan as-Sabah, was the one who created Assassins in the AC universe as well. Anyways, continuing the storyline, Altair is sent to extract a piece of Eden from Solomon's temple. During this mission, he fails to do that because he doesn't follow any tenet of the creed, resulting in him failing the mission and bringing the Templars right next to the assassin's door. But before the Templars could do anything, Altair saves himself and the assassins. But Al-Mualim gets angry. He demotes Altair to the lowest rank possible, and in order to achieve his rank, he has to assassinate 8 members of the Templar Order. The Templar Order at this period of time is much different than what Alfred created, meaning that they also got corrupted along the way. But keeping in view his master's wishes, he assassinates each and every member of the Order without knowing that they belonged to a secret order. With each and every consecutive kill, Altair regained his rank. After killing the final member, he reveals to him that Al-Mualim is the final person that you should talk to. And it is finally revealed that Al-Mualim was the real culprit. He was the one pulling the strings and wanted the power for himself. This is why he removed competition. Altair puts him down, ending his life once and for all, while keeping the Apple of Eden in safe hands. After killing Al-Mualim, the assassins go into a state of civil war, because the people don't know what happened. Abbas, one of Altair's associates, wants to take charge of the assassins and takes the Apple of Eden for himself. But since he doesn't have enough amount of Isu DNA in his blood, he is controlled by the apple instead. Altair takes the apple and begins studying it. Years later, he also marries Maria, a Templar that he found in his younger days while searching for the Templar Order. They both have 2 sons, Darim ibn La'ahad and Sef ibn La'ahad. During his leadership from the year 1191 to 1227, Altair becomes the mentor of the Assassin Brotherhood, introducing many reforms, including removing the blind faith in rituals and advancing their knowledge using the Apple of Eden, while also creating a Codex, which had all of his inventions and studies. Some assassins opposed his rule, including Abbas, the same assassin who tried to take the Apple of Eden for himself. In a plot against Altair, He was able to convince the other assassins that Altair was becoming power-hungry and losing his mind due to his obsession with the Apple of Eden, so he orchestrated a coup, seizing control of Masyaf and spreading false rumors that Altair had lost his way. During the coup, Abbas ordered the execution of Altair's youngest son, Saif ibn La'ahad. Altair's wife, Maria Thorpe, confronted Abbas about the murder, but she was also killed in front of Altair. Devastated and outnumbered, Altair fled Masyaf with his eldest son Darim and went into exile for almost 20 years. During their exile, Altair and his son also collaborated with the Mongolian assassin to assassinate Genghis Khan. At this time, the Mongol Empire was rapidly expanding and the assassin discovered that the Templars were secretly supporting Khan's conquest to establish global control. Combined with the fact that Genghis Khan was in the possession of a piece of Eden, Altair and Darim collaborated with the Mongolian assassin Kulan Gal, with the trio infiltrating Khan's camp. In the heat of the moment, Darim fired the killing shot, assassinating Genghis Khan there, effectively disrupting Templar plans for domination. In 1247 CE, Altair, now an old man, returned to Masyaf and overthrew Abbas. Since he was cooking for 20 years, he killed him with a Glock. After Abbas's death, Altair finally took control of the assassins again. But since he was an old man and knew that his time was coming, he sealed the Apple of Eden with him in a library, and documented his knowledge in the Codex and sent that Codex to different parts of the world, while also recording some of his pivotal memories in some memory disks, which he most probably found under the vault in Alamut. Anyhow, he gave the memory disk to Niccolo Polo to hide them. Shortly after, he locked himself inside the library, where he peacefully passed away. Decades after Altair's death, the Templars are now at the brink of extinction. With the assassins rising in power, they combine with the likes of the French King Philip IV and Pope Clement V, and start a massive purge on the Templars. Even before their execution, they were given a chance to merge themselves with the Hospitallers. But the Templar Grand Master Jacques de Molay refused. Left with no choice, the Templars were accused of corruption, and the purge began. Many Templars were tortured and forced to confess under extreme duress, with their high-ranking members, including the Grand Master, imprisoned. Before his imprisonment and execution, Jacques de Molay entrusts some of the most valuable artifacts in Templars' possession, including the Sword of Eden and the Templar Codex, with these two artifacts being hidden away. 7 years after his imprisonment, de Molay is burned at the stake in March of 1314, hence putting an end to the Knights Templar. This downfall led the Templars to work underground, hence bringing forth the new Templar Order. 200 years after the Great Purge of Templars, we follow the story of Giovanni Auditore, a master assassin operating in Florence. In the year 1476, he is investigating the assassination of Duke of Milan. After a bit of interrogation, it is revealed that the conspiracy extends beyond Milan, involving powerful figures in Venice and Florence, including the conspiracy to overthrow Lorenzo de' Medici, the ruler of Florence. Giovanni's trail leads him to Rodrigo Borgia, a powerful Templar who aims to control Italy through political manipulation and force. Giovanni tries to warn Lorenzo through his trusted friend Uberto Alberti, not knowing that his trusted friend is not so trusted after all. While Giovanni was busy discovering the Templar conspiracy, his son Ezio was having the time of his life in Florence, not knowing that his entire life is about to change. One day after coming back home, Ezio realizes that his father and brothers are mysteriously being captured by the Florentine guards. Not knowing the cause, he climbs up the prison and finds his father there. He tells him to open a box in his room, consisting of a letter that his father tells him to deliver to his close and trusted friend Uberto Alberti. Ezio finds the box, wears his father's robes, and delivers the letter to Uberto, thinking that his family is safe. The next day, it turns out that Uberto was a Templar agent all along, working with Rodrigo Borgia, their Grandmaster. Ezio tries to free his family, but it's too late. They're executed. Now the remaining members of the Auditore family are being hunted by the Florentine guards. Courtesy of the Templars, they made the people believe that the Auditore family was behind the murders and are planning to overthrow Lorenzo, not knowing the fact that in the process they created an assassin that will bring down the Templars 3 generations behind. Anyhow, Ezio manages to repair the broken blade and assassinates Uberto in the middle of the crowd, thus avenging his father. After the assassination, he and his family escapes to his uncle's residence in Tuscany, where Ezio knows the truth that his father was actually an assassin working for a secret organization, while also introducing him to some of the most legendary assassins of the Creed, including Darius, Kulan Gal, Altair ibn La'ahad, and Amunet, with the whole sanctuary built below the villa commemorating those assassins, while also giving him another task of collecting all the Codex pages and the 6 assassin seals scattered across Italy. And yes, these pages belong to the same Codex which Altair gave to Nicolopolo during his later years, whereas collecting all the seals will unlock the armor of the great Altair. Mario also tells him about the opposing order of the Templars, telling Ezio that they were the people responsible behind his father's death. So after learning all of that, he commits himself to the Brotherhood. Not officially, but still. He begins hunting down the Templars one by one, while also making some new allies without knowing the fact that they are assassins. Many years pass by and Ezio's hunt continues. In 1481, Ezio learns that Rodrigo Borgia, the Grand Master of the Templar Order, seeks Apple of Eden. He travels to Venice assassinating more Templars with the help of the assassin thieves. In the year 1488, Ezio finally meets and confronts Rodrigo Borgia, who refers to himself as the Prophet, meant to lead the Templars to ultimate power. Ezio defeats him in combat, but he escapes with the Apple of Eden. After this incident, all of Ezio's allies reveal themselves to be assassins, and they officially induct Ezio into the Assassin Brotherhood, and because of his progress, they give him the rank of a Master Assassin. After his coronation, he hunts down the remaining Borgia supporters and stops the Templars from controlling Italy. During his hunt, at some point in the year 1491, Ezio is contacted by Antonio, the leader of the Venetian assassins. He informs him that the assassin members in Spain have been captured by the Templars and are being held by Tomás de Torquemada, the leader of the Spanish Inquisition. After arriving in Barcelona, Ezio infiltrates the Inquisition's prisons and successfully rescues several assassins, while learning that they are using this Inquisition as a cover to exterminate the assassins and secure Spain as a stronghold. His investigation leads him to Christopher Columbus, who is unknowingly involved in a Templar plot related to his upcoming voyage to the New World, and that Rodrigo Borgia wants to manipulate Columbus's expedition to secure control over the New World that he discovers. Eventually, Ezio puts an end to his scheme, but as he's about to assassinate Torquemada, he escapes, leaving him room for another AC project, which we will talk about sooner. Before leaving, he also protects Columbus's fleet by preventing it from being hijacked by the Templars. With his mission complete, he departs Spain knowing that the Assassin-Templar conflict will continue in the New World. Taking place a year after, in 1492, after Ezio left Spain, the Spanish Inquisition is still under effect, with Torquemada again using the Inquisition to eliminate assassin opposition. To increase the Templars' control, they kidnap Prince Ahmed the Granada, and if the prince remains in Templar hands, Spain will fall under total Templar control. To prevent it, the Spanish Brotherhood sends their most trained and agile assassins, with our main character being Aguilar de Nirja and his partner Maria. They launch a surprise ambush to the Templar convoy, but are outnumbered and forced to flee. Despite their failure, they attempt a second rescue mission, this time infiltrating an Inquisition stronghold where Prince Ahmed is being held. They eliminate several guards before being captured by Torquemada's forces, because since they're captured, the Templars sentence Aguilar and Maria to be burned at the stake in a public execution. Fortunately enough, Aguilar breaks free using a hidden blade, killing several guards and freeing Maria. But since they're outnumbered, Maria sacrifices herself, allowing Aguilar to escape with the prince and return him to his father. After successfully completing the mission, the prince's father gives Aguilar a crucial secret: the Apple of Eden is in Templar hands and must be recovered. Aguilar tracks the apple and assassinates some high-ranking Templars, and successfully recovering it. A wounded Aguilar, after his fight, entrusts the apple to Christopher Columbus, who promises to take it to his grave. After that, Aguilar vanishes into history, leaving behind only his lineage. After his adventures in Spain, Ezio finally comes back to Italy at some point during 1492. By this time, Rodrigo Borgia has become Pope Alexander VI of Italy, and Ezio spends the next 7 years collecting all the Codex pages and assassin seals. By 1499, he has collected all the Codex pages and unlocked the armor of Altair. After analyzing all the Codex pages, he uncovers the location of an Isu temple beneath the Vatican City, the same city where Rodrigo Borgia is in. He calls all of his allies and begins a final push to Rome, where he kills every person that comes in his way and finally faces off against Rodrigo. Ezio fights and defeats him, but just before landing the final blow, he realizes that killing him won't bring his family back, so he spares him. Since Rodrigo is defeated, Ezio takes the staff and opens the vault beneath the city. Entering it, he sees a message of Minerva, who warns Ezio but refers to him as Desmond, and also tells her about the history of Isu, humans, and the Great Catastrophe, warning him that another catastrophe will soon happen in the future. Ezio, not knowing a thing about Isu or humans, still decides to listen to her conversation anyway. Our story picks off exactly where we left it in Assassin's Creed 2. After getting the message, Ezio is being accompanied by his uncle Mario and both leave for Monteriggioni. Before escaping Rome, Mario gives the apple to Ezio, leaving the artifact's fate on his hands. After coming back, he told all of his assassin allies that he spared Rodrigo. Hearing this, Machiavelli, the mentor of the Italian Brotherhood, gets infuriated and decides to kill Rodrigo himself, leaving Monteriggioni. Ezio, on the other hand, plans to retire and leave the fight against the Templars behind. While he is making out, the Templar Cesare Borgia, son of Rodrigo, launches a surprise attack on Monteriggioni, destroying his villa and killing his uncle Mario Auditore, leaving Ezio badly wounded. Fortunately enough, he escapes with his family to Rome, while the Borgia seize the Apple of Eden and strengthen their rule. Ezio finally arrives in Rome after being badly injured with the help of Machiavelli. Rome is now under the oppressive rule of Cesare Borgia, whose forces control the city through fear and corruption. With the help of Machiavelli, Claudia, and Leonardo da Vinci, Ezio rebuilds the Assassin Brotherhood, recruiting new members and training them, while also dismantling Borgia's influence, by destroying their war machines, assassinating high-ranking Borgia officials, and by sabotaging Cesare's military power by crippling his funding and resources. Cesare, on the other hand, begins losing power, and his father, Rodrigo, poisons him in an attempt to take back control. However, Cesare knows about this and kills Rodrigo before he dies, proving that he no longer needs his father. Meanwhile, Ezio, after rebuilding the Brotherhood, has been given the rank of mentor by Machiavelli, who is impressed by his actions. Now, in a final attempt to attack Cesare, a race against time ensues and Ezio recovers the Apple of Eden before Cesare from the Vatican and uses it to defeat Cesare's army, ultimately leading to his capture. Cesare is imprisoned but later escapes and gathers an army in Spain. In 1507, Ezio finally tracks Cesare to Spain. The two fight a climactic battle with Cesare refusing to believe he can be defeated. Respecting his wishes, Ezio leaves him at the hands of fate and throws him off the walls, where he falls to his death, ultimately ending the Borgia threat. With his mission complete, Ezio hides the Apple of Eden beneath the Colosseum in Rome to ensure that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, and leaves clues inside Monteriggioni for the future assassins to uncover, and continues fulfilling his duties as the mentor of the Assassin Brotherhood. Set 4 years after the events of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in the year 1511, we follow a 52-year-old Ezio searching for the secrets of the assassins in Masyaf, Altair's old fortress. Upon reaching Masyaf, he learns that it has been taken over by Templars, and that they are also searching for Altair's hidden library. After reaching the library, Ezio learns that it is locked by 5 special keys scattered across Constantinople, hidden by Niccolo Polo, the same person who Altair interacted with before his death. Ezio travels to Constantinople, controlled by the Ottoman Empire, and meets the master assassin Yusuf Tazim, who gives him a bit of insight about the city, and also meets a young Italian woman by the name of Sofia Sartor. She runs a bookshop in the middle of the city, and Ezio is pretty much attracted towards her. During his time in Constantinople, he discovers that the Templars there, led by Manuel Paleologos, are also searching for the keys, while also assisting the Ottoman Prince Suleiman in uncovering a political conspiracy against his family, but also being loyal to his main objective. During his search for the keys, it is revealed that Niccolo Polo hid 5 books across Constantinople, and those books had the locations of the Masyaf keys. After uncovering each and every book, he used to give it to Sofia for further decryption, while also getting close to her in the process. After getting the first key, Ezio realizes that these are not just keys but memory disks, and they consist of some of the most important memories of Altair, which we already discussed in the Altair section of the video. Now, only one key remains. Ezio tracks it to a Byzantine stronghold, where he also finds Manuel Paleologos. Thus, Ezio assassinates him and recovers the final key. During this event, he causes the murder of many innocent civilians, which forces him to rethink his life. Ezio returns back to Constantinople but finds Yusuf dead and Sofia getting captured, ultimately revealing that the prince's uncle is secretly leading the Templars, seeking the power of Altair's knowledge. He forces Ezio to give him the keys while keeping Sofia as leverage. Ezio fortunately saves Sofia and chases Ahmed through the mountains. During their chase, the Sultan finally arrives and kills Ahmed, while thanking Ezio for his service, and also banning him permanently from entering Constantinople. Once the problem has been dealt with, Ezio and Sofia travel to Masya, where Ezio finally unlocks Altair's library and also tells about his secret life to her. Inside, he finds Altair's remains and the Apple of Eden, and no wisdom whatsoever. Instead of recovering the apple, he leaves it there, and also retires as the mentor of the Assassin Brotherhood, hence living a simplistic life. Ezio's final years are shown in a movie called Assassin's Creed Embers. Set in 1524, 12 years after the events of Assassin's Creed Revelations, follows the story of a decrepit Ezio who is living his life as a husband and a father. He has left behind the life of an assassin long ago and focuses on his family, farming, and writing. However, despite his retirement, he still feels the weight of his past and suffers from health problems, likely due to old age and stress from years of war. One day he meets an unexpected visitor, Xiao Jun, a young Chinese assassin from the Chinese Brotherhood. She seeks Ezio's wisdom, believing he can help her save her own Brotherhood, which is being hunted by the Ming Dynasty's Templars. Though initially refusing, he still allows her to stay, offering her guidance and advice. She thanks Ezio for his help, and before leaving, he gives her a box. Remember it because it'll be of great importance in the future. The next day, Ezio visits Florence for a peaceful outing. While sitting on a bench, he realizes that his time has come, and with a final deep breath, he lets go, passing away peacefully in the streets of Florence. After getting her wisdom from Ezio, Xiao Jun returns to China alone in the year 1526, determined to avenge her fallen comrades and restore the Assassin Order. Her main goal is to eliminate the 8 Tigers, the Templar leaders responsible for the massacre of the Assassins. During her mission, she infiltrates Ming Dynasty's strongholds, assassinating key Templar officials while also rescuing captured assassins and allies who still remain loyal to the cause, while also reuniting with her mentor, Wang Yangming. After systematically hunting down the 8 Tigers, Xiao Jun finally confronts Yang Yong. A fierce battle ensues, with Zhang Yong wielding the Sword of Eden. Using her agility, she defeats him and reclaims the Sword of Eden, and hides it to keep it out of Templar hands while also rebuilding the Chinese Brotherhood from the ground up. Okay, we're finally into Assassin's Creed Shadows, but to avoid spoilers, I won't be going into details. But just for the sake of this video, and to invigorate interest, I will give you a brief overview. Set in the year 1562, we follow the story of our 2 protagonists, Naoe and Yasuke, with Yasuke being brought to Japan as a slave to Oda Nobunaga, one of Japan's most powerful warlords. His strength, intelligence, and combat skills impressed him so much that he gave him a home, katana, a samurai status, and a name, Yasuke. He fought in many battles alongside him, with one of his battles being in the Iga province, the hometown of Fujibayashi Naoe, the daughter of Fujibayashi Nagato. Despite their paths being different, at some point they make peace and work together to take down an even larger threat. And that's all you need to know, folks, because the rest of the story will be discovered by you when you play the game. 1.5 centuries later, we follow the story of Edward Kenway, a Welsh privateer turned pirate who dreams of wealth and glory, because of which he left his wife after a few years of marriage. In 1715, his ship is attacked by an assassin named Duncan Walpole, who is secretly working with the Templars, double-crossing the assassins. During the battle, the ship crashes, leaving Edward and Duncan stranded on an island. Edward succeeds in killing Walpole and steals his identity, while also finding a letter delivered to him by the Templar Grand Master Laureano Torres, where he mentions a reward for Duncan for trading the assassin's secrets, and also asks him to come in Havana. With the hopes of high profit, Edward delivers Walpole's message to the Templars, where he learns of a powerful first civilization artifact called the Observatory, a device capable of tracking anyone in the world by using their blood, making it a weapon of ultimate surveillance. But the Templars want it for themselves. During this time, the Templars, believing Edward is Duncan, induct him into their order. And to learn the location of the observatory, they need to find a person known as the Sage. Wait a minute, before continuing the video, let me tell you what a Sage is. If you remember, in the beginning of the video, I told you about Juno's immortality project, which she used to reincarnate her husband in the future generations. So that experiment was a success, leading Juno's husband Aita to be born once in every 100 years, with memories of his past Isu life. And every reincarnation of Aita is known as the Sage. This is why the Sage is important to both the Templars and Assassins. Continuing the storyline, Edward kills a lot of assassins in Havana and successfully captures the Sage for the Templars. But with time, he gets consumed more and more with greed, ultimately trying to capture the Sage for himself, but gets caught by the Templars and sent on a slave ship. where he and another slave named Adewale escaped together while also stealing a Spanish brig, later naming it the Jackdaw. Now with his own ship, Edward teams up with his pirate friends, mainly being Blackbeard, James Kidd, and Benjamin Hornigold, learning the ropes of piracy while also looking for the observatory. His search leads him to the assassin base in Tulum, where he incapacitates a lot of assassins while ultimately being confronted by their mentor Ahtabai, who is very angry after what Edward did to the other assassins in Havana. Still, he is blinded by greed nonetheless. His search leads him right to the sage in the year 1719, meeting him in Principe, where both of them work together to escape, and Roberts reveals his knowledge of the observatory, gaining Edward's trust. He finally gives Edward the location of the observatory and meets him there. Once inside, he betrays Edward by shooting him, taking the power of the observatory for himself. After this betrayal, he is caught up in prison but is saved by the assassins. This becomes a turning point for Edward as he realizes that everything that he has done so far has brought him guilt, misery, and death. So he aligns himself with the assassins, putting an end to the Templars and the Sage, fixing everything that he has done so far. In the end, it is revealed that Edward's wife is dead and that his daughter is coming to meet him. At that moment, Edward finally abandons piracy and returns to England, working with the Assassin Brotherhood. After some time, he marries another woman and has another child named Haydam, named after Basim's apprentice. Edward trains him to become an assassin, but before he knows anything about the Assassins and Templars, Edward is killed by the Templar Reginald Birch, where they manipulate him into joining the Templar Order from a very young age. After Edward's departure, his quartermaster, the same slave who saved Edward, Adewale, joins the Caribbean Brotherhood of Assassins. Set in the year 1738, the story follows Adewale as he brings an end to slavery in the Caribbean, while also discovering the remains of Edward's ship, the Jackdaw. But since this DLC has nothing to do with the mainline story, so we'll leave it here. 2 years after the events of Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, Ahtabai, the same assassin who met Edward, sent one of his last students to the 13 American colonies, so that he could establish a brotherhood there. That assassin's name was Achilles Davenport. He went to America and established the Assassin Brotherhood there, while establishing a homestead and recruiting some new members for his cause, including Shay Patrick Cormac, which will prove to be his biggest mistake, but we will talk about that later. As Achilles built his brotherhood in America, in England, Haydam Kenway is now fully grown up and a member of the Templar Order. He was sent on a mission in the Royal Opera House in London, where his task was to steal a key from an assassin named Miko, which supposedly unlocks a powerful First Civilization secret. During the course of the opera, he sneaks and kills Miko, stealing the key. After delivering it back to the Templars, they know his skills and send him to America to form a new and fresh Templar order there while being their Grand Master. He agrees and forms a new order there, inducting many people in their cause including Charles Lee, Benjamin Church, William Johnson, and Thomas Hickey respectively. While in America, he frees some Native American prisoners to gain their trust, ultimately finding Zio, a Native American woman belonging to the Kanyan-Kehaka tribe. Remember the name? Yep, the same tribe from AC Valhalla. Since her people are tasked with guarding the temple, Haydam knows that she has a location of it, so he helps him fight the Redcoats and ultimately gains her trust. She leads him right to the temple, but it opens with a First Civilization artifact. Haydam doesn't have it at the moment, so he leaves his search there. But since after working for so long with Zio, he falls in love with her, ultimately conceiving a child without him knowing. During his time in the American colonies, Haydam learned a disturbing secret, that Reginald Birch, his mentor, is the person responsible for his father's death. And not only that, in order to solidify his control over Haydam, he sold his sister Jennifer Scott into slavery. This revelation shattered his trust in Birch and made him question everything his mentor had taught him. Determined to stop Birch, Haydam ambushed him at his London residence. The two engaged in a fierce fight with Birch desperately trying to defend himself. However, Haydam proved to be the superior combatant, fatally stabbing him. Before dying, Birch attempted to justify his actions, but Haydam dismissed his words. With his mentor dead, Haydam assumed the role of Grand Master of the British Templars, reshaping the Order's influence in the American colonies as well. Moving back to the colonial assassins, Achilles' brotherhood is now very well organized, with Adewale guiding him and some other new recruits joining the brotherhood. Now the story of Shay Cormac begins. Shay, being a new recruit, is constantly under training. And at this point of time, the assassins are looking for the precursor box, the same box which Ezio gave to Xiao Jun, and it somehow found its way in the hands of the Templars. For that purpose, Achilles sends Shay to recover it. He successfully recovers the box from the Templars, and with the help of Benjamin Franklin, opens it. revealing the location of some Isu sites. Giving the locations back to Achilles, he sends Shay to collect one of the Isu artifacts from the map provided by the precursor box, that location being Lisbon. Shay reaches Lisbon and tries to recover the artifact without knowing that it wasn't an artifact but a Isu stabilizing site. After touching it, a great earthquake occurs, leaving hundreds and thousands of people dead. Shay directly blames Achilles for this and tries to confront him. Instead of admitting his mistake, he tries to blame Shay for it. In order to prevent Achilles from causing any more harm, he steals the artifact and tries to run, but is shot by the assassins and presumed dead, but is saved by the Templars. They nurse him back to health without telling him their true nature. They help Shay preventing assassins from causing any more harm. And as time goes by, Shay learns that the people that he is working with are actually Templars, so he aligns himself with them, and officially gets inducted into the Templar Order of the Colonial Rite. He spends the rest of his time hunting assassins and preventing them from causing any more harm. During his journey, he's also joined by Hayden, who just returned to America after killing Reginald Burge. With Hayden by his side, he finally finds and confronts Achilles, who is now searching for another Isu site. At that moment, he realizes that Shay was correct all along, but now it's too late. Because of Achilles, another earthquake happens. A great battle ensues between Achilles and Hayden, with Hayden being the victor, but as he's about to kill him, Shay intervenes by telling him that he should be left alone for the sorrow that he has brought upon all mankind, because of which Hayden cripples him forever, as a reminder for what he has done. Now officially, the Colonial Brotherhood of Assassins is dead, with only one member left surviving. Even after this, they still have a lot of work to do, because the precursor box that they were searching for is still missing, and Shay and Hayden spend their next years searching for it. While the Templars were busy hunting the assassins and taking over America, a young boy in the Kenyan Kahaka tribe is born, and is given the name Radanhagedun. And yes, he is the son of Hayden. In a very young age, he witnesses the death of his mother by the hands of the Templar Charles Lee. He remembers his name and wants to kill him for what he has done. As he grows up, he learns about the responsibility of his clan, and that they have a piece of Eden to protect, which they call the Orb. Their clan mother gives him the Orb, and he experiences a vision, where Juno tells him that if he doesn't act, then the Templars will take over his village, resulting in death and destruction. So, in order to prevent it, he has to seek the assassins. Radanhagedun reaches Achilles' homestead, and asks him to train him. A guilt-ridden and old Achilles declines, but after seeing the potential in him, he agrees. He trains him under his command and gives him a new name, Connor, a name which once belonged to his son, and teaches him about all the history of the Assassins and Templars, including his father. A fully trained Connor now begins his quest, by killing all the major members of the Templar Order one by one. During his journey, his father also meets him, and tries to convince him into joining the Templars. Connor disagrees because he values freedom more than control. This whole sequence of Connor and Hayden is so well written that I consider it one of the best in the franchise. Anyways, during his quest, Connor also meets a New Orleans assassin, Evelyn the Grand Prix, who is searching for a Templar target known as the Company Man. Connor helps Evelyn infiltrate a Templar-controlled area to gather intelligence. They both work together gathering intel about the Templar target. After their meeting, Evelyn returns to Louisiana, continuing her mission to assassinate him. Before leaving, Connor gives her a new perspective on freedom and revolution, reinforcing her commitment to the assassin cause. After helping Evelyn, Connor continues his mission, where he also works with his father to take down common targets. But because of their different beliefs, they leave each other at some point. And in 1781 at Fort George, they both meet each other again, but in the battlefield, with Connor being the victor and killing his father. With Hayden gone, the Templar Order is pretty much weakened in the colonies, and Charles Lee, being the leader now, is now the only target left for Connor to hunt. Connor finds Lee and chases him for 3 days while being injured, with both of them resting in a tavern sharing a drink, and Connor putting his blade through his chest, taking the key of the Grand Temple which Hayden had. When he returns back to his homestead, he finds Achilles dead as well. Going back to his tribe, he learns that his tribe has left the area, leaving Connor all alone in the wilderness. Still, he buries the key behind the homestead, and rebuilds the Colonial Brotherhood again. While Connor was busy hunting Templars, Shay was on his last mission. Contrary to America, the Templars and Assassins in France are on a truce, and they pretty much live peacefully. Shay kills Charles Dorian, recovers the box, and then vanishes into history, leaving behind his son Arno witnessing his father's death. After his father's assassination, the Templar Grand Master Francois de la Serre adopts Arno Dorian. He grows up alongside Elise, de la Serre's daughter. with both of them developing a romantic relationship with each other. But Arnaud doesn't know about the whole assassin-Templar conflict. In 1789, Arnaud's adoptive father, Francois de la Serre, is assassinated in the Palace of Versailles. But because there was nobody else with him at the time, the people responsible for his death blame Arnaud for the murder and throw him into the Bastille prison, where he meets Pierre Belec, a senior assassin. During his time in prison, Belec trains Arnaud while also educating him about the assassin and Templars. After a few months, because of the French Revolution, the prison is being stormed, making way for the pair to escape. Arnaud tracks Belec after escaping the prison and gets recruited into the Assassin Brotherhood, and vows to uncover the person who killed Francois de la Serre and takes on the assassin cause, which is a pretty bad move considering the fact that he completely forgot about his father, and instead of giving us a cool storyline, they gave us this. And this is one of the many reasons why I dislike Unity. But for the video's sake, let's continue the story. During his search, Arnaud also meets Elise and they both track down the killers. Belec gets wind of this and does not approve of assassins working with Templars. Since most of the assassins had no issue with this except Belec, he took the opportunity and poisoned the current mentor of the French Brotherhood. Arnaud, after a bit of research, found out that Belec was behind this. Arnaud tries to talk sense into his mentor, but he isn't willing to listen, leaving Arnaud no choice but to kill him. After this, during a period of 3 years, he successfully assassinates several high-ranking members of the Templar Order, leaving only one target behind, Francois Thomas Germain, and he also turns out to be a sage. Arnaud finally tracks down Germain with the help of Elise, in the same temple where the Templars buried the Sword of Eden. During the fight, Elise rushes to kill Germain herself, but he fatally wounds her, resulting in Elise dying in Arnaud's arms, leaving him heartbroken. A rage-fueled Arnaud kills Germain but loses everything in the process. But his work is not yet done. After killing Germain, he takes his skeleton remains and puts it into the catacombs, blending it with thousands and thousands of bones and skulls, ensuring that his DNA is never to be found again. Sometime after Elise's death, Arnaud, now disillusioned with the Brotherhood and tired of war, travels to Saint Denis to take a job from Marquis de Sade in exchange for a safe passage out of France. He offers him a deal to retrieve a manuscript hidden in the tomb of King Louis IX beneath the Basilica of Saint Denis. During his search, he encounters raiders led by Philippe Rose, who were also exploring the crypt seeking a powerful relic rumored to be in a subterranean temple. During the search, Arnaud learns that a young boy by the name of Leon possesses the manuscript. After rescuing the boy, Arnaud learns that Napoleon Bonaparte is orchestrating the excavation, aiming to harness the relic's power for his ambitions. This leads to him changing his mission to prevent the relic from falling into the wrong hands. Arnaud infiltrates the temple, and inside he confronts and defeats Rose, securing the Isu artifact, which was another apple of Eden. Choosing to protect it from falling into the wrong hands, he decides to send it to the mentor of the Egyptian Brotherhood in Cairo for safekeeping. After his mission complete, he departs Saint Denis with a new purpose. Set in 1841 during the height of the British colonial rule in India, the game follows Arbaz Mir, a skilled assassin of the Indian Brotherhood. His mission is to recover a piece of Eden known as the Kohinoor Diamond, a precursor artifact that has fallen into the hands of the Templars led by Major William Sleeman and Colonel Cotton, with the Templars working with the Sikh Empire to seek control. Arbaz's goal is to steal it before it can be used for harmful purposes. So, he infiltrates Maharaja Ranjit Singh's palace where the artifact is being kept, and discovers that the artifact is being studied and weaponized. He successfully steals it but is forced to flee as the Templars are now hunting him down. As British forces and the Templars tighten their grip on India, Arbaz learns that his mentor Hamid has been captured. Determined to free him and recover the Kohinoor Diamond, Arbaz infiltrates Templar strongholds, fighting his way through enemy-controlled territory, where he takes down some of the major Templars. After successfully saving his mentor and recovering the Kohinoor Diamond, he entrusts it to Ethan Fry, a British assassin and the father of Jacob and Evie Fry, which we will talk about in a bit. 20 years after the events of Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, set in the year 1868, we learn that London is under the control of Templars led by Grand Master Crawford Starrick, who has infiltrated every aspect of the city including industry, politics, crime, and even monarchy. And after Miko's and Edward's death, the Assassin Brotherhood in London is nearly extinct, leaving the city entirely under Templar rule. We now meet the Fry twins, Jacob and Evie Fry. They're the children of Ethan Fry, the assassin that we mentioned earlier. Tired of their usual missions, they rebel and reach London, where they meet Jayadeep Mir, who goes by the alias of Henry Green, and he's also the son of our boss Mir from Assassin's Creed Chronicles India. The twins arrive in London and start dismantling Starrick's network of controlling by forming their own gang, the Rooks, to oppose the Templar-controlled Blighters, while also meeting several key historical figures from history, including Alexander Graham Bell, Charles Dickens, and Charles Darwin. Jacob's focus is on dismantling Starrick's operation by eliminating key Templar associates, where Evie is on a quest of her own to locate a piece of Eden known as the Shroud, a powerful artifact believed to grant immortality. Her investigation leads her to uncover secrets hidden beneath Edward Kenway's mansion, who during his later years uncovered a lot of Isu artifacts and delivered them to the Brotherhood. She ultimately learns the Shroud is hidden beneath Buckingham Palace. Despite differences in their tactics, both of them reconcile upon learning that Starrick plans to steal the Shroud to solidify his control over London, becoming invincible. In a climactic battle, the Fry twins with assistance from their allies manage to assassinate Starrick and secure the Shroud, preventing it from falling into Templar hands. In recognition of their efforts, Queen Victoria knights Jacob and Evie, and the game concludes with Jacob and Evie successfully liberating London from the hands of Templars, while also telling us that Henry Green proposes to Evie Fry to marry her, leading her to leave London and move to India with him. In 1888, 20 years after the main events of Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Jacob Fry is now leading the Assassin Brotherhood in London, and investigate the brutal murders attributed to Jack the Ripper. During his investigation, he encounters a Ripper who overpowers and captures him. Learning of Jacob's disappearance, Evie Fry returns from India. Collaborating with Inspector Frederick Aberline, she aims to stop the Ripper's terror and rescue her brother. Evie eventually discovers that Jack the Ripper is actually Jack, a former assassin trained by Jacob. And because his mother was brutally murdered by the Templars, leading to his confinement in the Lambeth Asylum, Jack developed a twisted interpretation of Assassin's Creed, leading him to target both the assassins and civilians. During her final confrontation with Jack, Evie tracks him to Lambeth Asylum, where she fights and kills him, rescuing a severely injured Jacob from captivity. Despite knowing the Ripper's identity, Inspector Aberline conceals it to maintain the Brotherhood's secrecy. In 1918, amidst the chaos of the Russian Revolution, assassin Nikolai Orlov plans to flee Russia with his family, but before leaving he's given one last mission, to retrieve a precursor artifact from the imprisoned Tsar Nicholas II's family. He infiltrates the Tsar's residence and witnesses the brutal execution of the royal family by Bolsheviks. Surprisingly, he finds that the youngest daughter of Tsar, Anastasia, has mysteriously survived and is somehow linked to the artifact, granting her assassin-like abilities. Despite her being the target of both Templars and the Bolsheviks, Nikolai chooses to protect her. They both escape to Kazan, where he seeks aid from his old friend Leon Trotsky, only to be betrayed as he sides himself with the Templars, believing Anastasia is a danger. Nikolai gets captured and tortured, but later rescued by Anastasia, and they flee to Moscow, where the assassins plan to experiment on her to remove the artifact's influence, but doing so will risk her life. Nikolai, now conflicted, betrays his own brotherhood to save Anastasia. He helps her escape and gives her a new identity as Anna Anderson, allowing her to disappear into history while he walks away from the Assassin Brotherhood forever. We finally now move to the 21st century. At this point of time, both the Assassins and Templars are very much secretive, operating under major organizations without revealing who they are, with the Templars now operating under the alias Abstergo Industries. At some point during the mid-20th century, under the provision of Dr. Warren Vidic, Abstergo created a device known as the Animus, which granted its user the ability to relive his ancestral memories. And to perfect it, they used several test subjects, with much of them dying in the process. By the year 2000, the Animus project was near perfected. The assassins got the wind of this project, and using their sleeper agents in Abstergo, delivered the blueprints to the Brotherhood to make their own version. Sometime later, Abstergo captured Daniel Cross as a test subject. He was used to relive the memories of his ancestor Nikolai Orlov, the same assassin from AC Chronicles. However, unlike other users, he experienced the bleeding effect in an extreme way. Pausing the video here, let me tell you what a bleeding effect is. If the user stays in the Animus for too long, the memories of his ancestor begins to overlap with his current present memories, taking away the ability to distinguish between past and present. But it was all Abstergo's plan. They brainwashed him, turning him into a sleeper agent programmed to track down and destroy the Assassin Brotherhood from within. Daniel infiltrated the assassins, rising through their ranks until he found the Mentor, the leader of the entire modern Assassin Brotherhood. Then without any hesitation, he killed him. This exposed the assassin leadership to the Templars, leading to the Great Purge, the biggest event in the AC lore. leading to 90% of the assassins in the world exterminated, with the remaining being forced into hiding. After completing the mission, the Templars gained full power and control, with Daniel embracing the Templars, becoming a high-ranking agent and enforcer for Abstergo. After the mentor's death, William Miles, another assassin, took over his place to rebuild the assassins. He had a son named Desmond, who lived in the assassin compound known as the Farm. But at the age of 16, he ran away, and ended up living as a bartender, where he also conceived a child without knowing. We'll get to that later. Until Abstergo kidnapped him in 2012, where he met their scientists Warren Vidic and Lucy Stillman. They forced him into the Animus to relive his ancestor Altair ibn La'ahad's memories. Initially, he did not know that his captors were Templars, but over the course of time he knew what their actual plans were, and that he was being used to discover the location of the Piece of Eden. After finishing his work, Abstergo planned to kill him, but he was saved by Lucy Stillman, who revealed herself to be a double agent working for the assassins. He rescued her and brought him to the assassin compound somewhere in the city, where he met two other assassins named Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane. They both introduced him to their own version of the Animus, known as the Animus 2.0, where their plan is to train Desmond using the Animus bleeding effect, by making him relive Ezio's memories, who was also Desmond's ancestor. Once his training was done, he knew from the first civilization warnings that another solar flare is coming, and it also answered a question to why Minerva referred to Ezio as Desmond. So now their mission is to prevent the end of the world. But since the Templars knew of their location, Desmond and the crew traveled to Monteriggioni, a more safer place for work. There they discovered that Ezio hid the apple beneath the Colosseum. They follow his hints and get the apple, but after getting the apple, it controls Desmond, forcing him to stab Lucy, killing her. And Desmond gets transported to the Animus Black Room, where he meets Clay Kazmarek, another one of Abstergo's test subjects. He revealed that because of the hard drive that Lucy stole from Abstergo, his consciousness traveled to this Animus as well. He tells Desmond in order to escape from this state, he has to relive the last memories of his ancestors. After reliving the last memories, Clay sacrifices himself and saves Desmond. Now also being joined by their mentor, William Miles, they all reach the Grand Temple, where now they have to relive another one of his ancestors' memories, Connor Kenway. While he was in the Animus, William gets captured by Abstergo and Vidic. Desmond infiltrates Abstergo, uses the apple, and kills both Vidic and Daniel Cross, hence putting an end to their tyranny. After coming back, he finishes his memories and finds the location of the key. Now to activate the artifact there, the key has to be put inside it. Before doing anything, he's given two options by Juno and Minerva, that if he lets things happen the way they are supposed to happen, humanity will rebuild itself with Desmond as their leader, where the other scenario being that Desmond activates the artifact and setting Juno free, a powerful and evil Isu. He chooses the second option, where he sacrifices himself and frees Juno. After Desmond's death, Abstergo scientists recover his body from the temple, where they extract his DNA and gives it to the Abstergo Entertainment branch to use it in the pop culture to create movies and other stuff. Now we take control of an unnamed initiate who's given the task to relive the memories of Edward Kenway for the movie Devils of the Caribbean. During this task, he also meets the company's CEO, Olivier Garneau. He tells us how important this project is to him and that he has to finish it one way or another, before leaving for a meeting in Chicago, from which he never comes back. During this, we get influenced by another person named John Standish. He helps us hack Abstergo's files, revealing that they still experiment with the first civilization technology and that they want to create a cloud consciousness using genetic memories, meaning reviving ancient minds. While hacking one of the computers, it is revealed that Olivier was not killed by any assassin, but in Chicago he was killed by an unnamed vigilante who goes with the name The Fox. Does it ring any bell? Well, it's the same guy from Watch Dogs, connecting both the Assassin's Creed and the Watch Dogs universe. Moving on, after we completely relive some of Edward's best memories, the identity of John Standish is revealed. He is another sage, and his plan was to transfer his wife Juno's consciousness into ourselves. But the process fails and Abstergo kills him, where they also take his DNA for experimentation. After some months, we take control of another unknown initiate, and he is given the task to research the memories of Shay Cormac, a rogue assassin. They're interested in his memories because he hunted down and killed the assassins, which could provide Abstergo with leads on their hidden assassin bases throughout the world, while also fixing some of the hacked computers by our previous employee. After reliving Shay's memories and discovering about the hidden Templar and assassin order, we meet Juhani Atso Berg, a high-ranking Templar who gives our initiate a choice to either join him or die. As expected, he accepts his offer and joins the Templars. A few years after this, We now take control of another anonymous initiate, and we are given a mission by the assassin named Bishop, who tells us that Abstergo is using the Phoenix Project, which aims to synthesize First Civilization DNA to create a perfect Templar-controlled world, and that the assassin needs him to find a body of a sage before Abstergo does. So we delve into Arno Dorian's memory to locate the sage's remains, preventing Abstergo from using it for their experiments. After successfully completing this, in 2015, we further collaborate with the modern-day assassin Brotherhood. Now, being joined by Rebecca Crane and Sean Hastings, our task is to explore the memories of Jacob and Evie Fry to discover the location of the Shroud of Eden. The Templars, led by Otsoberg and Isabel Ardant, are actively seeking the Shroud to further their control over humanity. They locate the Abstergo facility where the Shroud is being held, resulting in the death of Isabel and the assassin securing the Shroud. But it is also revealed that since Juno is now free, she's planning to revive herself, which is a looming threat. Where another cult by the name of the Instruments of the First Will plans to revive her, while also revealing that the cult took Desmond's son after he was born, because he had a high percentage of Isu DNA in him, making him practically an Isu-human hybrid, and also the fact that the cult worships Isu and their artifacts. While the assassins were fighting the Templars, on the other hand, in Abstergo, a researcher by the name of Layla Hassan was working on a portable Animus prototype that allowed her to access any genetic memory without needing a blood sample. Abstergo initially did not take any interest in this project, so she made it on her own. In 2017, she sent to Egypt to investigate an ancient site, where she found the mummy of Bayek of Siwa and his wife Aya. Instead of reporting back to Abstergo, she secretly used her portable Animus to explore Bayek's memories. Through these memories, she experiences the origins of the Assassin Brotherhood and their fight against the Templar Order. But since she went rogue, Abstergo is sending agents to kill her. There, she meets William Miles, who rescues her and offers her a place among the assassins. After being with the assassins, Layla discovers the broken spear of Leonidas. Layla uses the spear to relive the memories of Cassandra, where she learns the location of the lost city of Atlantis. She reaches the city and finds Cassandra alive because of the staff, but because of her role as a staff keeper, she gives the staff to Layla and dies. Meanwhile, as Layla is in Atlantis, the Instruments of the First Will, the cult that I mentioned before, starts resurrecting Juno. With Elijah being raised by the cult, they also use him to resurrect her, but he declines. But before she could be resurrected, the assassins and Templars work together to take her down, ultimately killing her. Coming back to Layla, since she now wields the staff, her mind begins corrupting, making her more violent and reckless. Looking at this behavior, Layla's friend tries to take the staff from her, but in anger, she unknowingly kills her. 2 years pass. The Earth is now facing a magnetic field collapse, which could lead to massive global disasters. Layla now receives a mysterious message telling her to go to a specific location in America, where she finds the remains of a Viking named Eivor. She relives his memories and finds the location of the Yggdrasil temple in Norway. Layla reaches the temple, but in order to activate it, she has to attach herself with it. Because of the intense radiation down there, she takes the staff with her. She succeeds in attaching herself with the machine and finds herself in a new area known as the Grey, where she finds Basim, who reveals that he was the person who sent Layla the message to investigate Eivor's bones, so that he can free himself after being trapped there for centuries. With the machine now activated, Basim gets freed, and the whole plot is revealed. Before dying in the Great Catastrophe, Basim and Alethea orchestrated a complex plan to reunite and seek vengeance against Odin, and that she used Cassandra and Layla to free Basim. And since Basim is now free with the help of the staff, he revives himself, and telling the assassins a story that Layla sacrificed herself to save the world, and also demands to meet the assassin's current mentor, William Miles. Meanwhile, in the Grey, Layla encounters the transformed consciousness of Desmond Miles, now known as the Reader, where his job is to search different timelines to prevent a great catastrophe. And after seeing him, Layla also joins him in his purpose. Basim, on the other hand, gives his blood sample to William Miles so that using his memories they can train the current Assassin Brotherhood. Since he's now fully alive, he can now finally begin his mission, which is to revive Alethea to a physical form and also to locate his children while influencing and manipulating the Assassin-Templar conflict. So folks, this marks the end of this video. We've explored the deep and complex web of the Templar Assassin conflict spanning across centuries and shaping the fate of both past and present. And if you made it to this part of the video, then congratulations, you're one hell of an Assassin's Creed fan. Also, before you say anything in the comment section, I know I missed a few things, and the reason being that I didn't want the flow of the video to be disrupted. But still, caring about you guys, I will put a detailed explanation of everything that I missed in the pinned comment, so you can read it after watching this video. And I hope this video served its purpose, which was to educate you guys about the Assassin's Creed lore so that whenever you play any future game in the franchise, you get a deep understanding of the world, its conflicts, and its hidden truths. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe because it took a lot of time for me to make it. And also let me know about your thoughts in the comment section. Until next time, take care and goodbye.